Next on Newsmax Prime, round two for the Republicans. Will Wednesday night's debate develop as a high-minded discussion of principles or degenerate into a rhetorical food fight? We'll talk about what to expect. Then we all expect heightened security for Pope Francis during his visit here later this month, and that security level will no doubt increase now that a plot against the pontiff has been broken up. An ex-Secret Service agent joins us to discuss. Plus, a pending court fight in Oklahoma over the 10 Commandments. Thou shalt not change the channel, because Newsmax Prime starts right now. Good evening. Welcome to the Monday night edition of Newsmax Prime. I'm J.D. Hayworth. Of prime interest tonight, erasing or embracing Reagan's 11th commandment. With a second GOP debate set for Wednesday night at the Reagan Library, will the candidates remember the Gipper's admonition to not speak ill of fellow Republicans, or will the rhetorical slings and arrows all take aim at Donald Trump? And will the frontrunner respond in kind? Last week, a rhetorical barrage was unleashed on Trump, first by Bobby Jindal Thursday at the National Press Club, then on this very program Friday night by former New York Governor George Pataki.
The idea of the Donald Trump Act is great. The reality of Donald Trump, however, is absurd. He's non-serious. He's a carnival act. Here's the truth about Donald Trump. Donald Trump is shallow. He has no understanding of policy. He is full of bluster. He has no substance.
To me, it's very simple. He is unfit to be president of the United States. He has gone out of his way to demonize groups like calling Mexicans rapists and insulting women and African Americans. A candidate like that does not deserve the nomination of the party of Abraham Lincoln, and I think unequivocally he is unqualified and unfit.
For more on this story, we're pleased to be joined via Skype by the senior fellow at the Family Research Center and the former mayor of Cincinnati, Ken Blackwell. Ken is Skyping in from the Queen City of the West. Also joining us via Skype from Utica, New York, the senior analyst at Zogby Analytics, pollster John Zogby. John, of course, also the author of the book, First Globals, Understanding, Managing, and Unleashing Our Millennial Generation. Gentlemen, as we welcome you aboard, we should note that both George Pataki and Donald Trump have taken to Twitter like a couple of angry birds tweeting out attacks against each other. For example, here's what Pataki put out, quoting now, "I would hope that every one of my fellow candidates will stand up and say our party cannot nominate Donald Trump." And he also tagged Jeb Bush and John Kasich looking for their support. The Donald responded in this fashion: "Why is someone like George Pataki, who did a terrible job as governor of New York and registers 0 in the polls, allowed on the debate stage?" Ken Blackwell, let me start with you. The gloves are off. Do you expect everybody to take aim at Trump on Wednesday night?
No, I don't. I think smart folks will try to stay focused on the issues. It's going to be a bit of added pressure on the moderators at CNN to keep this thing under control. Look, there are enough substantial public policy issues to keep these candidates going back and forth because they are not uniformed in their position on these issues. And I think it's an obligation of the questioners to keep it focused on the policy divisions among the candidates.
Let's go to John. Brother Zogby, since you're the pollster, we see Trump continues to lead. He's added to that lead, but you have been telling us this is the month he starts to go down. Does it begin with this debate Wednesday night, in your view?
Yeah, it could very well, JD, but not because of any attacks that come from the other candidates. Just as Donald Trump has risen because of personality and because of bluster, he's in control of his own fall. It could be a combination of, does he run out of outrageous things to say? Can he handle 2 or 3 days in a row where he doesn't get enough attention to fuel his ego? But I agree totally with Ken. I think those candidates that are on the verge of extinction, and there are, 4 or 5 of them going into the debate, they're the ones who are going to be on the attack. But the candidates with a serious chance, You know, the Marco Rubios, the Scott Walkers, Jeb Bush, and so on, they're going to be carving out their own persona, their own positive image, their own issues.
Gentlemen, Carly Fiorina and Donald Trump haven't directly exchanged words on social media, but Donald did get in some heat after saying Carly wasn't electable when he said, quote, "Take a look at that face." Well, today, Carly for America came out with an ad in response. Let's take a look and then get your reaction.
Ladies, look at this face. And look at all of your faces. The face of leadership. The face of leadership in our party, the party of women's suffrage.
So, Kenny, it looks like a twofer, not only counter-punching Trump, but in a way going after Hillary and the Democrats with their, quote, war on women.
I think it was an excellent ad. Now, you can really argue, and I've heard it argued today, about the substance or the style of the ad. But look, I think it was a good ad because it, in fact, went to her strength. She's talking to the largest voting bloc in the American electorate. She's identifying with them, and she, in fact, has ignored Trump. That's something that infuriates Trump when you're ignoring.
Well, she may have ignored him in the past, but John Zogby, and I know you deal more with numbers than campaign tactics, but we understand Carly is going to step up and challenge Trump as a, quote, entertainer in this next debate. Now, does gender, in addition to her counter-punching ability, mean that really she has another breakthrough situation in round two, much as the way she did at the kids' table in that Fox debate or round one?
She hit a home run in round one. She's an experienced leader, experienced spokesperson, and experienced media savvy person, and she was pitch perfect in this ad. She has a tremendous opportunity on Wednesday night to do just what she set the table for in this ad, to appeal not only to Republican women, but also to sober, understanding, patient, moderate, independent Republican voters as well. She can carve out a lot of that turf for herself.
Let me just ask you one other quick notion about polling. As we look at the polls right now, which candidate, John Zogby, has the most to lose in the debate Wednesday night?
Oh, I would say, honestly, Jeb Bush does. You know, he would be my first pick because he's got to start breaking away a little bit. I mean, he was the front runner, but I think, you know, one of the people who could face an extinction tomorrow is Scott Walker as well. If he doesn't give a compelling reason for voting for him, you know, he could easily fall by the wayside.
And let me turn
down.
Fair enough. Let me turn to Ken Blackwell with about 30 seconds left. Kenny, we take a look at the governor of your home state, John Kasich of Ohio. Does he stand the chance of becoming the front runner for the establishment, for lack of a better term?
Well, I don't know, but I think he has marked out for himself a path that means that he has to do well with New Hampshire voters in order for him to stay in the, let's call it the leadership pack. Look, at the end of the day, we have a low labor participation rate. We have an irrational immigration policy. We have a threat internationally from ISIS, Al-Qaeda, and a lot of other radicals. And if they can't figure a way to send a message that they are the one that is most competent to handle these emerging threats, people are going to start turning down the volume on a number.
And we don't want that to happen either on that debate or on this program. We'll have to leave it there. Ken Blackwell and John Zogby, gentlemen, you have our thanks. Now listen about Wednesday night right here immediately following the CNN debate. Newsmax TV hosts a post-debate special with Ed Berliner, Steve Malzberg, and yours truly. We'll bring you all the highlights from the debate. We'll have analysis from Dick Morris and John Zogby. Also special guests Dr. Ben Carson and Michael Reagan live from the Reagan Library. Make sure you're here Wednesday night, 10 o'clock Eastern, only on Newsmax TV. There's more ahead on Newsmax Prime, so stay with us.